You've probably been told to be more emotional, more expressive, more open. But what if I told you that's exactly why she's losing interest? Older men who master Stoic philosophy don't chase, they attract. They don't try harder, they move smarter. And when they do, something incredible happens. Obsession. These are the psychological tricks no one's teaching you but the men who know them. They're already winning. Miss just one of them, and you'll keep getting overlooked by the very woman you want most. If this kind of content opens your eyes or even challenges your old thinking a bit, consider liking the video and sharing it with someone who might need it. This kind of message might be exactly what another man is waiting to hear, and you could be the one who delivers it. Let's start with the first trick that flips the entire game in your favor without saying a single word. Let's dive into the first real game changer, the power of saying less. It's wild how most men believe they need to talk more to impress a woman. But the truth is, the real power isn't holding back. A man who uses strategic silence isn't being rude, he's creating tension, and tension is what builds mystery. Women don't obsess over what's explained, they obsess over what's left unsaid. That's where the magnetism lives. It's like a movie that fades to black right before the kiss. The less you give, the more they lean in. Older men who've mastered this know exactly when to shut up. They're not throwing silence around like confetti, they're using it as a weapon. One that forces a woman to fill in the blanks herself. And guess what? Her mind will always make it more intense than anything you could have said out loud. Female psychology is wired to seek resolution. When you pause, she leans forward. She starts wondering, what's he thinking? Why didn't he react? And just like that, you've taken control. Now here's something incredibly simple you can try next time you're on a date. Pause before you answer a question. Not to be dramatic, but to give space. Nod slowly, look her in the eyes, breathe. You're not just buying time, you're creating presence. You're signaling confidence. She notices it, and she'll start reacting differently. Suddenly, you're no longer just some guy she's chatting with. You're the mysterious man she can't quite figure out. Let's say she throws a little emotional bait at you, maybe a complaint, a tease, a challenge. Most guys would rush to defend themselves or explain, but a man with emotional control holds the line. He stays still, he watches. That moment of silence doesn't just show restraint, it shows inner strength. You're not ignoring her. You're showing that you're not controlled by her emotions. That's what makes you stand out. Stoic men throughout history have used this. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, they didn't waste energy with emotional noise. They taught the value of measured words and self-control. In today's world, where people overshare everything, your silence becomes louder than words. It draws attention. It builds curiosity. And for many women, curiosity is the first step toward obsession. Remember, it's not about being cold. It's about being calculated. You're not shutting her out. You're pulling her in without force. The man who speaks only when necessary becomes the man whose words carry weight. That's Stoic mindset in real time. Say less. Let's say it like you mean it. This isn't about manipulation. It's about personal mastery. And if you're thinking, but won't that make me look distant or uninterested? No, not if you combine it with strong eye contact, relaxed body language, and calmness in your tone. That's how you build a paradox. Warm yet detached, inviting but unreadable. That's how you seduce without touching. That's how authentic men keep women chasing, not the other way around. So now that you know the power of saying less, what happens when you say just the right thing at the right moment? Let's move forward with the next hidden gem. Command with your gaze. Before a man speaks, before he even moves, his eyes speak for him. And the way a man looks at a woman says everything she needs to know about him. Eye contact is the most primal and direct form of communication we have, and Stoic men understand this more than anyone. When a man holds his gaze without blinking nervously, without breaking eye contact too soon, he's signaling something far beyond words: confidence, dominance, and deep inner value. There's a massive difference between staring and owning a room with your eyes. One is needy, the other is commanding. The key? Stillness. No twitching, no shifting, no searching for approval in her eyes. just calm, unwavering attention. Women pick up on this instantly. They can feel when a man has emotional mastery versus when he's looking to impress. A grounded gaze can make her heartbeat change because she's in front of someone different, someone rare. This kind of look doesn't require anger, arrogance, or intensity. It's not a death stare. It's simply presence. And presence is rare in today's world. Most men's eyes dart around the room like prey. A man who keeps his gaze centered, controlled, and rooted in strength, that man becomes unforgettable. Not because of his looks, but because of his stillness. That's the kind of masculine energy women feel on a soul level. Try this in real life next time you speak to a woman. Focus less on what you're saying and more on how you're looking at her. Keep your gaze firm but soft. Let it rest naturally without chasing hers. Combine that with slow communication and you'll notice something shift. Her tone might soften. Her pupils might dilate. She might even lose her train of thought. That's not by chance. That's power. And it's not just for dates. In the office, at the gym, in everyday life, eye contact communicates leadership. It says, I'm not hiding. I'm not afraid. I'm aware. Calm leadership isn't about yelling or posturing. It's about how you carry yourself, and your gaze is the tip of the spear. When your eyes lead with truth and integrity, people notice. And when a woman feels that, she doesn't forget it. Marcus Aurelius wrote that your soul becomes dyed with the color of your thoughts. Your eyes are the window into those thoughts. So if you're thinking like a king, your gaze will show it. If you're grounded in Stoic philosophy, you won't have to say, you're a man of depth. She'll feel it. That's why Stoic men don't chase. They let their eyes do the talking. Stillness, patience, and unwavering gaze build a frame she wants to enter. And when you pair it with the previous strategic silence, you've now created a psychological loop that leaves her thinking about you long after the conversation ends. That's not game. That's grounded masculinity. That's strategy. But if your eyes can pull her in, what do you think happens when your entire vibe makes her question if she ever meets someone like you again? Now let's explore a subtle move that most men never master. Walk away with dignity. Nothing confuses and captivates a woman more than a man who walks away, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. In a world where everyone is desperate to be chosen, the man who chooses himself becomes unforgettable. This is not about playing hard to get. This is about actually being hard to shake. And when you walk away with dignity, you're showing that your inner value is not up for negotiation. Most guys stay in conversations, situations, or even relationships that disrespect them. Why? Fear. They're scared of losing her, scared of being alone, scared of rejection. But Stoic men don't fear that. They fear dishonoring themselves. And that changes the game completely. When you walk away from something that doesn't serve you, she may not say it out loud, but she'll your strength. And that feeling? That's what sticks with her. Let's get practical. Imagine she pulls back emotionally, acts hot and cold, or disrespects your boundaries. Most men would chase, explain, try to win her back, but not you. Not if you've built emotional control. Instead, you pause, you assess. And if she doesn't meet your standard, you walk. No drama, no insults. Just a clear message. My truth doesn't bend to be accepted. That's a move she won't expect, and one she'll replay in her head again and again. Women test, not because they're cruel, but because they're wired to find out if a man stands firm. It's part of female psychology. And when she senses you can detach with clarity and calmness, you stop being just another man. You become the authentic man, the one who doesn't need to raise his voice or prove a point because he lives by his own code of integrity. There's a reason Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike the one who wronged you. When you stay grounded in Stoic mindset, you don't retaliate, you remove yourself. That's where your discipline shines. That's how wisdom looks in action. And ironically, that's often when she begins to feel the most obsession right when she thought she had the upper hand. When you walk away with grace, you keep your power. You show her that your peace is not for sale. This isn't about control. It's about having personal mastery over your environment. Because when a man knows who he is, what he stands for, and what he won't tolerate, he becomes magnetic by default. He stops chasing and begins to attract. And here's the twist. Sometimes walking away isn't permanent. Sometimes it's the exact wake-up call she needs to meet you at your level. But even if she doesn't, you've already won because you chose yourself. That's what separates the mysterious man from the predictable one. That's what creates stories she tells her friends. Not about the man who begged, but about the man she couldn't break. And here, a quick pause. If this kind of content is opening your eyes to things you never even noticed before, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because this is just the beginning. Let's keep going. So now you've learned how a man's silence and gaze can pull her in, and how his departure can shake her to the core. But what happens when your every word becomes something she waits for? Time to unlock a move that rewires how she hears you. Speak slowly, rule her mind. Most men speak too fast. They rush their words, fill in every silence, and end up sounding nervous even when they're not. But a man who masters slow communication doesn't just sound confident, he becomes confident. Speaking slowly sends one clear message: I'm in control. It creates space, it creates mystery, and it forces her to tune in, because now your words have weight. You're not performing, you're leading. Think of any powerful speaker you've ever admired. They never race, they pace. It's the same in conversation with women. A Stoic man speaks as if time bends around him. He's not rushing to fill silence. He's using it. And that rhythm? It taps into female psychology in ways most men never understand. When your voice is calm, firm, and slow, you bypass her filters. You don't just speak to her ears, you speak to her nervous system. Want to try it? Here's a simple exercise. Take your next conversation at work, with a friend, or on a date, and intentionally slow your tempo by 25%. Pause between sentences. Let your words breathe. Don't force it. Just become aware. Combine that with eye contact and relaxed body language, and suddenly, you're no longer just talking. You're seducing quietly, powerfully, with every syllable. There's something magnetic about a man who doesn't rush to prove himself. When you speak slowly, you communicate emotional control, inner strength, and high self-worth. You're not trying to impress. You're inviting her into your world on your terms. It says, I value my thoughts too much to throw them away cheaply. And that hits deeper than any pickup line ever could. This level of speech doesn't just happen overnight. It's trained. It's a reflection of your discipline and wisdom. And it often mirrors what's going on inside. If your mind is scattered, your words will be too. But if your thoughts are grounded in Stoic philosophy, your speech becomes a reflection of that clarity. You begin to sound like a man with personal mastery, because you are. Now, some guys fear that speaking slowly might seem boring or dull. But the truth is, when it's paired with confidence and authenticity, it becomes hypnotic. It keeps her attention. It creates tension. It sparks obsession. That's the difference between passive conversation and powerful communication. You're not just filling air, you're filling her mind. There's power in stillness, power in pause, power in making her wait for your next word. That's strategy, not accident. And when a woman sees a man who doesn't flinch under pressure, who doesn't stutter or rush, she sees calm leadership. She sees a man who lives by integrity, who knows the value of words. That's a man she listens to. That's a man she remembers. So now that your voice is making an impact, what happens when every part of your being starts matching your words? Let's close with the most underrated force of all, unshakable authenticity. There's a type of man who doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and doesn't fake anything just to be liked. And when a woman meets this man, truly meets him, something changes in her. He's not the flashiest, not the loudest, but he's the realest. And authenticity, when it's pure and unshakable, is magnetic in a way no trick can replicate. Why? Because it's rare, and what's rare becomes valuable. This kind of man doesn't shift his beliefs because someone disagrees. He doesn't soften his values just to get laid. He's rooted, aligned. His words, actions, and intentions match. That's consistency, and consistency is what creates respect. A woman may test him, question him, push against his frame. But the more she does, the more she realizes, this man won't bend for me. And that's where the obsession begins. Here's where most guys go wrong. They think being authentic means telling it like it is, or not caring what others think. But that's not it. Unshakable authenticity means you live what you believe, even when it costs you, even when it's inconvenient. That's what Stoic philosophy teaches. That's what Marcus Aurelius lived. To stand firm in your essence, without performance, without disguise. That's not arrogance. That's inner value. Try this. Next time you're tempted to exaggerate, pretend, or downplay who you are, don't. Tell the truth, not aggressively, not defensively, just plainly. If you're into philosophy, say it. If you don't like shallow conversations, say that too. You'd be surprised how natural attraction grows when you're not trying to play a role. And when she senses your alignment, she lean in, not out. A woman can spot fakeness a mile away. She might entertain it, play with it, even enjoy it temporarily, but she doesn't respect it. And without respect, there's no lasting desire. But a man who's real, she'll remember him, even if things don't work out, even if years pass. Because authentic men are like tattoos etched into memory. That's not manipulation. That's masculine energy at its purest. It's easy to want to blend in, to match what's trending, to follow the same script every other guy follows. But the men who become high value don't blend. They build their own script. They live by truth, not popularity. And in doing so, they conquer silently. Not with games, but with grounded presence. That's not just attractive, it's unforgettable. And when your authenticity becomes a force, everything else aligns. Your tone, your silence, your gaze, they all begin to radiate the same message. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. And what you'll find is, most women won't want to leave it. Because deep down, that's exactly the kind of man they crave. One who's not just attractive, but solid. So now, you've mastered how to speak less, look deeper, walk stronger, speak slower, and live real. The only question left is, are you ready to use this to build not just seduction, but real healthy relationships? Most men drift through life trying to be liked. They talk too much, fold too easily, and perform instead of lead. But you're not here to be like most men, are you? You're here to master yourself, to become a man who commands respect, radiates confidence, and creates natural attraction through presence, not performance. So let me ask you, which of these 5 Stoic moves are you going to apply today? Will you start by speaking less, walking away when needed, or showing up with unshakable truth? What's one change you know you must make right now to stop being forgettable ... and start becoming the man she can't stop thinking about? Drop your answer in the comments. Or better yet, just type this: I'm done explaining. I lead now. Let the world know you're stepping into your masculine energy for real. If you've made it to the end of this video, I want to sincerely thank you. You didn't just watch, you committed. And that matters. Now do me a quick favor. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And hit that subscribe button with the bell on, because we're only getting started. Let's build a men's community rooted in truth, power, and real relationships.